Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Point Blank. Someone asked me today in the comment section, and I think after watching one of our videos, that Kevin, what do you mean by saying that Raila never meant going to Statehouse, overthrowing Ruto's government? And I want to say and repeat here again, the intention has never been to overthrow William Ruto. That has never been it. I can say that categorically. The intention has never been it. But I want to tell you I want to take you how Raila successfully executed his plan. And let's start from the previous lapse of 14 days. When the 14 days ultimatum lapsed, the discussion was on Raila was going to call the mass action by Wednesday, the following day. I think that was Wednesday the other week. And when he came out and gave press briefing, he pushed it to 20th, which was today, in what was also an extension of we are giving Ruto time. But of course, there is also a discussion on coincidence of these protests from the other African countries, the Senegal, Nigeria, South Africa, and Tunisia. There is also that story of the coincidence, behind the coincidence of those press briefings happening at the same time. So, today, and throughout the messaging, he went hardcore, wiping emotions, telling them the Ruto must go and that we were going to Statehouse. That is it. Then, if you remember, on Saturday, when he appeared in an interview, I think that was on Saturday, appeared in an interview, he said that we were going to we were not going to take the crowd to Statehouse, but we will send a delegation to Statehouse. But then from the lumps of day one, you realize that places that were barricaded first was routes to Statehouse. That was on Saturday day. Then on Sunday, when he was in a church service, that was yesterday, just the weekend, he now changed and said that tutaenda huko. Now, the story about sending some few delegates, because by that time, I think he realized that the public became a little bit fatigued after hearing that we were not going to Statehouse. Because initially, that is what was charging the people. And there are some people that were saying like, look here, we want to reclaim the power. We all know that Ruto must go. Ruto was not going anywhere. Maybe going in 2027, but not now. So, the whole discussion was centered on Statehouse. And the state security team became so much obsessed by the fact that Raila was converging to go to Statehouse. Yeah, and when I was having peer analysis, the gentleman was telling me, but Kevin, don't underestimate him, maybe he can go. I don't know, guys, do you think he could go? Do you think? Although the supporters I saw, I don't think they will stop at nothing. The supporters I saw, the kind of confidence, the brave they're putting, they could stop at nothing. But with that in mind, look at the venue that was picked for meeting. That let's meet at KICC. Look at that. So tell me, if people were to go to Statehouse and people are meeting at KICC, do you think that, didn't Raila expect that he was going to face, maybe he's going to be repelled? Do you think? And he knew very well that if it was at KICC, then the option was very clear. If they would be moved from going the parliament way, they were under Nairobi chini, come back to LSLS and then back to town. But as I said, the intention has never been it. Now, the state machineries did it. They put that trap that all the minds were like, Raila akikutana na wale watu, they'll go to Statehouse. And that is why, despite the fact that we all know that that mass action was never illegal. No, that was not it. It was not it was not, like the protesters were not repulsed on the grounds that it is illegal. And if you want to confirm that, the MPs that were arrested have already been released. They were released this evening. So the point of protest being illegal, that was never the point. But look at the way the police handled it. They were determined, number one, to make sure that no protester gets to CBD or assembles in CBD. That's number one. Number two, Raila Odinga was not going to give any pressure within Nairobi CBD. They successfully did that. So look at where Raila went. Raila went to Serena, and from Serena he was to go to cases. And I understand the decision to go to town, to go to the street, to go to Eastleigh and Juja. Do you think when did they make that decision? Do you think they made that decision after police kujam? No. When they were holed up in that meeting, the options were all there. That if they refuse that we don't go to town, then we'll take alternative route, and this is what we'll do. Everything, according to me, was planned. So the state thought that, Raila Odinga was planning to go to Statehouse. And there are a lot of stories. Yesterday, I think Rigathi was saying in Nandi that Statehouse is a protected area. If you go there, you'll be prosecuted. I don't know, we've put a lot of security, and I think they deployed security there. And by the way, Ruto was in Statehouse. Ruto was in Statehouse today because he was doing some, the Solicitor General was sworn in there. So there was that mad perception that Raila was going to Statehouse. But with that in mind, he knew very well that police will then want to neutralize that protest. And if the protest was to be neutralized within town, probably that would push the issue of making sure that things are paralyzed. Do you know that peaceful protest can be done and things are not paralyzed? Do you know that? Protests can be done and things are not paralyzed. But police themselves and the security, the Ruto team fell for that trap. And I can tell you, if you ask me, the Kindikis are entirely to be blamed for the confrontation. If you ask me, from where I'm seated, they're entirely to be blamed. Raila could have a peaceful procession in town. Now, watu wangechoka, by 3, people will get tired, then go home. It would have been that way. The Kikuyus, the traders, the Nairobi business community, no, not Nairobi, Nairobi business community are just a bunch of jokers and goons. The Nyamachoma people, is it Nyamachoma or is it Nyamakima? Nyamakima people that protested in town, they were not alone, they were with the other people. They protested for an hour and went back to their businesses. Now, if these people were to converge, I can tell you that they will still make a very peaceful procession. And there are two things. If it would be peaceful, it would be within town, I can tell you. But because the police fell for that trap that people are going to Statehouse, they decided, the security team, Ruto decided to do what? I'm going to rain terror in the population. And what has happened? The effect is there. Now, with the way it has been handled, and that's what I'm saying, the way Ruto has handled those protesters, tell me, if Raila says tomorrow we are going to protest, is there anyone who will go to town? Or like he said, we are going on Monday, is there anyone who will go to town against a declaration by government that things should go on? Yeah, that's my point. Mtu amekunywa maji yake. You used everything, maji, tear gas, rungu, what? Because some people were beaten. And because of that, you ensured that chaos are there. So, if you didn't want, you will still, and in fact, I'm saying, for long, when Raila has been talking about this issue, there is something that has been very constant. And I saw some leaders saying, atafanya tu na atachoka jioni ataenda nyumbani. We've been dismissing it that it's going to be non-consequential. You will protest as much as you want, but we will do nothing. We are not going to be moved. So the protest of protesting will do nothing, we're going to be moved, was to be successful when it's peaceful. And indeed, it would have happened that way. But now, you've set a wrong precedence. If the protesters are going to be called again for peaceful protests, what will they expect? Maybe they didn't expect that things were going to be charged. What do they expect? We are getting a wrong footage. Number 3, we are already creating the fear that we've always been trying not to create. No one wanted to create the fear, but we are already creating that fear. So that's why, according to me, Raila set a very interesting trap. And I can tell you, for me, I am convinced. I am convinced beyond any reasonable doubt that Raila is not a madman. Raila is a senior politician. Raila knows there is an implication to overthrowing Ruto's government. It needs a holistic system, the police, the military, and you need a very big backup.